r/ask Reddit. What are common things you've never done? I have never been stung by a bee or a wasp. Me too. I'm terrified that if it happens, I'll be deathly allergic. Right now, my evasion game is pretty strong. Good news, anaphylaxis does not occur the first time someone comes in contact with an allergen. During the first exposure, the person's immune system, which fights infections and disease, responds to the allergen as if it were a threat. Response copied from kidshealth.org. Broken a bone. I have finally found my people, until I actually break one and get shunned from the pack. Well, if you break a bone, you were never really one of us anyway. Have a dream where I'm flying. Next time you're dreaming, try swimming in the air. Works for me. Been in a serious relationship with someone. Could be worse. I've never kissed someone. My dad paid a prostitute to take my virginity at 24 because I was embarrassing him by being bad with women. I've lived with that shame ever since, and it has tanked 2 of my marriages. Gone to a concert. Don't think that'll be changing anytime soon. Dated in high school. Nobody was really interested, I suppose, and I had better things to do. Edit. My goodness, this blew up. It's nice to know I'm not alone in this. Thank you kind strangers for the awards, and I hope 2021 treats us all well. My husband didn't date in high school or college. We met in grad school when he was 27. I'm very glad it worked out that way because if anyone had dated him prior, I doubt they would have let him get away. This is so cute. Been ice skating. I wanna try, just never have gotten a chance. IDK if it's just me, but ice skating is hard. I've gone a few times and I almost always fall. Broke my wrist while going ice skating last time. You're probably a bit biased then. I love skating and find it easy after the initial wobbles. Starting by pushing a chair helped. Whistle for more than like a second. Edit. Thank you everybody for making this my most upvoted comment. I love all of you. 3. I can only whistle breathing air in. Weird, but that's how my body is built. I can go both ways. Allows me to do it constantly for a little while. At least until I need to swallow. Spit just kinda builds up. Takes some practice to do it right though. Going in is a bit sharp. I learned to compensate so no one notices. Built a snowman. It's weird because I live in Canada, but when I was a wee kiddo all my elementary schools had this rule about picking up snow. So no snowballs, no snow forts, no snowmen. We were however allowed to roll snowballs along the ground but not to pick them up. So I've never built a snowman. Go to say that's a pretty shitty rule. They don't want to risk a chunk of ice or a rock to be thrown with the snow, so they don't let any snow get thrown. It's shitty but it makes sense. Never had a one night stand. I've always been in relationships and never had that experience. I tried to have a one night stand casual relationship once, but we are married now. Skied or snowboarded. Same, and it's more embarrassing since I live in Utah. It's just so damn expensive. Never had a cavity. 49 years. Your dentist both loves and reviles you. I've never had, as my parents put it, a real job. That is, one where you turn up at a certain time at a certain place, you work for a certain number of hours for someone who is recognizably your boss, and then you get a paycheck at the end of it. I've done temp work on occasion, but never for long enough to learn how the whole office politics thing is supposed to work. I started freelancing straight out of university, and I just never stopped. God forbid I ever do need to get a more stable job, because my CV is ducked. Just write down all the individual work you did. Experienced professionals don't just list the companies they worked for, they tell what they did. Not that you need this information, I have never been on a date, and I'm in my early 20s. 26, in the same boat. Make a Twitter, Instagram or Facebook account. I'm jealous that you didn't succumb to that. Like another user is saying, you are way better off never ever making one. Keep it that way. 2 days ago, I would have said fly, but a helicopter ride to the hospital fixed that. So you opted to pay for the executive experience. Not so much opted, as had to. When you live 60 miles from the hospital and are having heart attack symptoms, they don't give you much choice. Ask someone out. You can do that anytime. The answer is usually no, but it never hurts to ask. I've never ridden a bike. Well, this is an interesting one. Where are you from? I grew up in Nebraska. Gotten a tattoo. Ditto. Never understood the desire. I've never made it through one public speaking opportunity, whether speaking to 3 colleagues in a meeting or delivering a wedding toast to hundreds of people, where my throat hasn't closed up with fear after 30 seconds or so. Everyone I know can stand up and talk to groups of family, friends, colleagues, etc. and just be looked at by all of them. But for me, no matter who they are or how many, my anxiety takes over and I can't get the words out. Maybe someday. Watched Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones. I've never been trick or treating. Tried mustard. I don't trust it. I've never watched any of the Back to the Future movies. I've had people get legit upset when they found out. I kinda like having not seen it. Not sure you'd enjoy it now as much as you would have in the 1980s, but I still recommend at least watching the first one. Back to the Future is great no matter when you watch it. I am 15. So I obviously wasn't around to watch it in the 80s, but I've loved it since I was a kid nevertheless. Been to Disney. My wife grew up in a Disney family, went to the park often as kids, always watched Disney movies Sunday night on TV. I grew up in a dysfunctional home and grew up watching shit like Scarface and horror movies. We took her family to Disney last year and she was so excited. It was the worst theme park I've been to in my life. I played like it was special for my wife, but my god did Disney ever suck not having any nostalgia behind it. Universal was duckin' cool though. Learned how to swim. I was in lessons when I was around 3 or 4 years old. I can still remember seeing my dad in the pool. He had blue swim trunks on. I didn't want to go in. I was hanging onto my mom's legs. The lifeguard took me and tossed me into the pool. This was the 80s. I never went back. Still don't know how to swim. My college required swimming to graduate. Luckily I already knew how to swim like a fish. Never gotten high mellow on weed. I have tried it many times, 40 times, but never got high, only badly ducked or paranoid. So yeah, I'm decided me and we don't agree. Same. I tried it again a few months ago thinking that because I am 30 with my own home I would have no reason to be paranoid. That whole night I thought my dog was mad at me and I was seriously upset about it. Never sworn in front of my parents. Damn. My mom and I communicate mostly through swear words. It's never hostile though, mostly just emphasis. Had an eye doctor appointment. Imagine having to pay to see. Instead I just have asthma so I pay to breathe. Watch Star Wars. I've never eaten an orange because the smell made my sensory processing disorder go crazy, and here I am at almost 20, never having had an orange. There's a host of classic horror movies I've never seen, but the most well known would be any of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. My parents forbade me from watching such movies growing up for religious reasons. Every Halloween I say, hey, this is the year I finally sit down and watch that stupid Elm Street movie. And I've still not seen it because nobody ever wants to watch it. Seen a few others at least. This year I watched Psycho for the very first time. I'm sure I'll get to the others eventually. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.